and how it works together. If we take a side view of a brain, okay, brain sits where? Up in our heads. And the brain
there you go.
All right. So the brain's up in our heads, and we have a spinal cord, our spine that comes down, that supports us, holds us upright. And then from the brain, we have some nerves that come down through the spine, and then they're going to come out, they're going to go to things. So for tonight's purpose, the nerve's going to go to your liver. And as a nerve goes to the liver and innervates it, tells the liver what to do and how to function. And the liver, we know, does over 500 functions, but it's estimated that the liver does over 1,400 functions in the body. One day we'll figure all of these out, maybe not in our lifetime. And then the liver will then send messages back up to the brain as far as what it did. So the brain says to the liver, make more hemoglobin. And the liver tells the brain, make more hemoglobin. Well, it doesn't end there. Okay, we know that the liver then has a surface point, right? Remember the acupuncture points that we use out on the surface? So the liver will then go out to the point, and then that point will reflect back in here. Okay, and we know this because when we touch the reflex point on the body, and we know there's no energy coming out of that, what does that tell me about your liver? It's not working very well, right? And so that's how we know, hey, this person needs their liver to be stimulated to improve in function. And so as we look at this loop with the brain-body, we need to understand that, because by understanding this, we're then better able to know how we need to work on fixing the body. And tonight we're talking about endocrine disruptors. So what we're going to do is, let's see, we'll try this. We're going to take a little piece of this right here and chop it up, and we're going to blow it up. With the liver, we take some of that tissue, okay, of the liver, and that's going to communicate with, as we blow it up, a cell. And then the cell's going to communicate back to the liver. The way the organs communicate with our cells, okay, our endocrine system we're talking about, is through something called hormones. So the liver will produce a few hormones. All right? The hormones will then get down to the cell, fit in the receptor site, and once it does that, the cell will then tell the gland, in this case we're talking about liver tonight, okay, or it could be the thyroid or whatever you want. Thank you, I received that hormone and I'm responding the way you want. However, things can happen, and things do happen, and we can cut off this pathway, and if we do that, will the gland, liver, whatever organ it is, know that that cell received the hormone? No, it will not. So what the gland will do, the gland will then respond and increase the amount of hormone that it produces. Everybody here remember the chocolate episode with I Love Lucy? Right? What happened is the chocolates came too much, right? She hoarded them all in. Well, what happens in our bodies when that occurs is the cells respond, and they'll take that excess hormone, and they're going to store it as something called PE, potential energy. Another word for potential energy is fat, and that's what the cells do. And so we take this brain body and we look at how it works, right? Brain's communicating out to the liver, liver's communicating back, or whatever gland you want, back to the brain. Got it. We have a surface point, other points involved, but for simplicity, we have a surface point on the skin, tells us whether it's functional with energy coming off or non-functional without energy. And if there's no energy, we know to look for some type of blockage in the pathway. Well, the question is, and this is what we're going to be discussing tonight, what is blocking that pathway? Does anybody want to take a guess? Wow, so close. Nobody. Well, we're going to call that Ed.
Certain foods?
Maybe. Ed is what blocks that pathway. Ed is endocrine disruptors, things that disrupt our endocrine system. If we look at the relationship of the endocrine organs, okay, you can see that there's not one organ that is independent of itself. There's all checks and balances with every organ, starting with the hypothalamus and pituitary up in the brain, and then hormonally out to the body. Okay, your adrenals, that's the master endocrine gland out in the body that's governing the rest of the body function. good 51 hormones produced in there. The thyroid, okay, helping us balance out metabolism and keeping us functioning. And then gonadal region, which has a lot to do with circadian rhythms and keeping us balanced. But they're all interrelated. There's nothing there that's by itself. But when we introduce endocrine disruptors to the system, what happens then is these endocrine disruptors will mimic cells, right? Kind of look the same, yes? But what happens is where those receptor sites are, that endocrine disruptor will then sit in there, blocking the hormone from getting to that cell, to that receptor site, and then taking over or taking control of that cell. Well, now our bodies can't work correctly. And you say, okay, Doc, well, what are endocrine disruptors, right? Where do they come from? Well, endocrine disruptors are all around us. They come in the things that we drink. They come in the things that we eat, we breathe, the things that we put on our bodies, such as toiletries, makeup. So we really have to be careful. Okay, endocrine disruptors can come in from the new carpet or new paint on the wall. So be careful about what you're putting into your homes. Right? Endocrine disruptors come in the forms of insecticides, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, plastics, heavy metal, country western. Just seeing if you're still paying attention. Okay, but heavy metals, alcohol, tobacco, sugar, artificial sweeteners, all the hormones that are in our food system, the dairy products that we get, the animal products that we get, right? Why would we need to put hormones in our animal products? Anybody know what a peep is? A peep. I'm not talking about the little marshmallow thing covered in sugar, okay? It's a baby chick, all right? A peep is a baby chick.
All I know about it is they try to fatten them quickly and those kind of things.
Well, it takes a baby chick about 6 months to become an adult chicken. But if we give them growth hormones, estrogenic hormones, we can do it in about 6 weeks. It takes a cow about 24 months to become full grown, ready for slaughter. If we give the cow growth hormones, estrogenic hormones, it's about 8 months, a third of the time. Right? If you look at cows for milking, a milk cow will give you about 10 gallons of milk a day. That's pretty good. But if we give that cow hormones, right, bovine growth hormones, which supposedly do nothing to us, don't believe it, okay, what those hormones will do to that cow will allow it to produce 100 gallons of milk a day. Right? So you're, a day. So you're over, yeah,
From
a day.
10.
From 10 times. It's incredible. And so we really have to watch where we're doing. Listen, if those hormones can make a turkey a butterball size, what are they doing to us? And so we really have to watch out what we're putting into our bodies. So when we look at supplements, we'll start with the core. With supplements here, we use whole food supplements. We use standard process. In my opinion, I believe they are the best, the standard in the field. They've been around the longest, since 1929. They've never had a claim against them regarding any of their products. And all other companies that are trying to make whole foods try to emulate them. But standard process is two classifications of products that no other company has ever been able to make. That's our PMG, or protomorphogens, which are using the nucleus extract of the cells, and their cytosol extracts, which are the cellular extracts. And so they have glandulars, plus the PMGs and the cytosols, but other companies can't make it. I know right now you go, what? They help you in the different process of healing. The PMGs help with slow rebuilding and healing. The cytosols kind of give food for a quick function, but then also it's kind of like a multivitamin for that specific organ or gland. But getting back to endocrine disruptors, think about all the places in our environment where we can find endocrine disruptors, right? 80,000 chemicals just in our food system that go unlabeled. So you pick up something in the food market, and you read it, and you're looking at all the ingredients, you're going, oh, that looks great. They still have, the manufacturer still has a list of about 80,000 that they don't have to label. That's pretty insane, right? It's crazy. And so you really want to watch what you're buying. I always say that if you're shopping the perimeter of the store, you're doing pretty good. You have the produce, the meat department, and dairy around there. When you start walking up and down the aisles, that's when you start to create the issues. You know, if something's prepackaged, it has to have some type of preservative in there or something to preserve it for freshness so that it'll last on your shelves. Okay, because if not, it'll go stale relatively quickly. Yes. Quickly. All right. Thanks. I was thinking Twinkies,
Edit,
how long
edit,
they last.
edit.
That's it. Edit that out, okay? So anyway, when you look at what's going on, it's those endocrine disruptors that you really have to watch out for, okay? And the Twinkie, that's where the quickie came from. Okay? And so,
Guilty about that one.
so you want to look at where things are grown.